Welcome to Sting City. Good morning from Sting City. It's July 5th. Hope everyone had an awesome 4th of July. Trying to get some things taken care of between the heat of the day arrives here. So, as the check-in this week, we have a couple things we need to accomplish. First of all, bring you up to date on Buzzopolis. Last we talked, we had a laying worker problem, and I've got some updates on that that'll be interesting. Not too much to say about Sleepy Hollow. They're just still doing their thing, so I don't think we're going to disturb them too much. Over here, we've got some new residents that I'd like to talk to you about, and I need to put them onto some new hive parts. Over here, nectar collector, a couple quick updates on that. And this hive here, yet to be named. Um, let's check it out, see what's going on in there too. So with that, let's go take a look at Buzzopolis. So before we get in too deep, wanted to introduce one of the newest residents of the city. Big shout out for this edition. He's awesome. He'll just be keeping an eye on things over here. Actually, Sleepy Hollow seems like a good perch. Okay, and that is really crooked. Well, everything's crooked. Okay, so Sleepy Hollow, sorry, Buzzopolis. You'll see that it definitely looks different than last time we saw it, where we were pulling it apart and discovering a laying worker, big time laying worker problem in there. So after they swarmed, it's about 6 weeks ago now, they failed to requeen, and in the process, we developed a laying worker problem there. So last weekend, I took some actions to take care of that, and I'm going to take you back in time right now to that excitement. So my plan today is I need to get the laying workers away from the hive. So what we're going to do is we're going to break uh, Buzzopolis down, and I'm going to take the hive boxes and frames quite a ways away, 150 yards or so, and set up a new hive here where Buzzopolis currently is. When I take the frames away, I'm going to shake off all the bees. And those that are out foraging or foragers or have flown are going to come back to the hive that I put here. And hopefully the laying workers have never left the hive, so they aren't oriented and are not able to make it back to this location. So we're going to try that. And then if that works, we'll have a hive full of bees. And again, no queen. So then my options are to either combine those bees with another hive, or I may tomorrow try and find a frame of eggs and brood that I can add to it from one of the other hives and see what happens. Okay, so let's see what we find. Today is towards the end of June, June 28th. Crazy how time flies, and it's about low 80s today. So we're getting this done before the sun hits the hives because it's toasty. This is a honey super on top. Yeah, and I noticed last week when I was in here, these bees are very um, unsettled, which goes along with the fact that they've got issues now. So we've got drone brood even up in the honey super, which is not what we want to see. So yep, we're moving forward with my plan. And I'm going to disrupt all this drone brood here because I want to put I'm going to put this comb with all the nectar on one of the other hives. So they will keep developing it. And if I smush this, they will clean that out and it will be no problemo. We're going to put them in the wheelbarrow. It's really surprising, though, to see how many bees are in this hive since it's been without a queen for five weeks now. This definitely is testing my beekeeping resolve here. Whew, it is crazy. Out. I just got stung through my jeans. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. This is a lot right now. This is more than I was expecting to have to deal with right now. But yikes, let's see what happens. Okay, so welcome back. As you can see from that video, it was an interesting adventure pulling that hive apart with a lot of angry bees. So I finished the job of shaking all of the bees out across the yard and um, basically rebuilding the hive here with a new hive box and new frames. So the thought there is any of the bees that could fly, were foraging, would know to come back to this hive location. And theoretically, any of the bees, the laying worker bees that are the problem, would have not left the hive, so they would not know how to get back to this location. So hopefully, by doing that and creating a whole bee swarm in the process, I've created a hive here of Buzzopolis bees. And again, they had, at this point, no queen, but hopefully no laying workers either. So the next day, I pulled a frame of, over here, uh, a frame of eggs and brood from Nectar Collector, put it in here, and it's been about a week. So I can't check on it. I need to probably wait about 4 weeks before I open that up. Okay, so that's the story with Buzzopolis. Next up, we're going to take a look at this hive here, and I'll talk to you about them. Okay, so this hive here is a new addition. This is actually the swarm that I collected from underneath Buzzopolis all those weeks ago on the day of all the swarms. And it was residing at my parents' house. I thought it was a lost cause because when I had checked, there was no sign of a laying queen in there. Last weekend, I decided to just bring it home here and see what was going on. And lo and behold, I opened it up and it was full of brood and all the right signs. So they had been living in just a medium deep and it was packed. Last weekend, I added this deep, super deep hive body on top of it. Um, my job today is to relocate these boxes onto a more permanent bottom board and replace this top. Big shout out to my dad who is my wood shop for this stuff and building these parts for me. It's a huge help. So I'm going to go pull those and I'm going to show you the bottom board arrangement that I use on these hives. I haven't really shown this before, but this is the bottom board arrangement that I'm using, and it's really courtesy of Masterson's and their recommendations. It's a combination of a screened bottom board and a solid bottom board. So the screen bottom board is here on top, and so the hive builds right on top of here. The screen right here, it's about 1/8 inch mesh, actually forms the bottom of the hive. And it lets a lot of airflow through the hive, which helps them make their honey and do what they need to in the hive. Um, a lot of A lot of people will just run this, wide open on the bottom, but we do have some, as we know, challenging winters here. So by putting a bottom board, solid bottom board on it, it helps insulate it during the winter. And then there's a slot along the back so that this open space, this is below the hive, lets air flow through there. In previous videos, I know you've seen me pull out the removable bottom board, which is this piece of white plastic board here, and just show you how this goes in here. It slides in the back on some rails. Let's see. And it basically just closes off the bottom like that. And then I can reach in. Yes, the gloves are making it tough, but pull it out here and check it out. Or you can theoretically control how much of the bottom is open for ventilation. So anyways, this is the bottom board that we'll be putting on our hive here. I know they're thriving and doing well. So I'm going to introduce them as the flower power hive. And I think what I'm going to do when I rebuild it is actually put this deep box on the bottom and then put this one on top of it. We're not going far, so just going down here. All right. My original plan when I brought this over, when I didn't think they had a queen, was to combine these bees with one of the other hives. Okay, let's see how this goes. See what happens. I'm just peeking in here, and I can see these were all undrawn plastic foundation. I'm not going to pull them out, but I can see that they are actively drawing the comb out on most of the frames, at least 7 of the 8. Now, I'm going to check the bottom of these frames because it looks like they're building, yep, I don't know if you can see that, but they're building honeycomb between these layers for some reason, which is a mess that we don't want. So we're going to take care of that right now. All right, let's get this on here. Now, this is probably really stuck onto this bottom board here. Let's see. Strap out of the way. Over here, and I'm here. Since I have them open and worked up, let's give a quick check in here, see what it looks like. Pull this one out very carefully. So, really good looking frame of brood. I'm spot checking for the queen, but I'm not too worried about it. Larva, honey, capped brood. All right, I'm putting this back together. This looks great. I don't take a healthy hive for granted, that's for sure. After its constant problems with other hives here, it's nice to see a healthy one. Go. And this brand new top, courtesy of Dad, which, as a side note, I'm told that this nostalgic piece of plywood here on the inside is actually from the parking sign for John's and my graduation party just a couple years or decades ago. So there you go, John, buddy. We got a little history in our hives. All right, next stop is this this hive right here. Again, this is the swarm from Bozopolis. Again, that was about a month and a half ago. Um, as of a month ago, There was no sign of a queen in there, so we had put a frame of eggs and brood in there. Let's see what we find. I do have a honey super on here, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Yeah, nothing doing in there, so we're just going to take this right off. Frame full of honey, all pretty ripe. Frame full of nectar. Another frame they're just starting to draw out honeycomb on. Same here. All right, I don't like this. Afraid of what I'm seeing here. Yeah. So you know what that is, right? That's a bunch of drone brood. Not the greatest of signs. Lots of honey and some drone brood here. If it's a laying worker issue, after my last experience, um, I don't know that it's worth the risk to those around me to try and address it. So let's see what we find here. Well, I'm going to try and show you this, but a whole bunch more drone brood. We got some funky comb they're building off the bottom. That needs to go. Ay, ay, ay. With that being the case, I got to think about this one. More of the same. Ugh, the smoker's blowing in my face. Not at all what I wanted to find in here. All right, let's talk about nectar collector here briefly. They're, by all accounts, doing very well. Yesterday, I actually harvested one medium super of honey, and I put it back on, so it's this one here. That's all wet comb, as they would say. Um, the top one here is actually pretty full of nectar, just not capped yet. And my reason for harvesting it when I did is they need more room. They were building comb on top of the frames and stuff. Um, so I harvested the honey from here. It's interestingly, it's a pretty light color, has a interesting mint kind of flavor to it. So we're wondering if we have catmint plants along the house, if maybe that's playing into it. Uh, the the frames, I'm hoping I didn't take it too early. The frames are about 70% capped. So I've got a tool coming tomorrow to check the moisture content and just see what that looks like. It's still good honey. You just have to watch out if the moisture content is above like 19%. You run the risk of it over time fermenting, which nobody wants. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Again, it's all a learning process, and patience has not always been my strong point. So that's the story with Nectar Collector. I might just pop in and see what's going on in here. I'm debating uh, if I can easily find a frame of eggs and larvae. I'm debating pulling it and putting it into Buzzopolis, but I don't want to in any way jeopardize what I have going on here. So let's see what we find. Probably be ready in a couple weeks. It's heavy. Ooh, said that is going to be a good batch of honey right there. Now these are all the frames that I harvested yesterday. So you just pop them back in here. I'll show you. You just pop them back in, and they fix up quickly fix up all the honeycomb that gets damaged when you're cutting and scraping the top off. Rebuild it. That's amazing. Because that honeycomb gets kind of squashed when you're cutting and scraping the wax capping off. So they're fixing it up and they will hopefully get that refilled. Queen excluder, plastic one. I'll have to take it apart. Oh, jeez. Keep dropping the frame like that. That makes them really happy. This is, holy cow. This is a very heavy frame of honey. Beautiful frame of honey. But this is theirs. I won't take it. All right, we got capped brood. We got normal drone brood. So just for show and tell, show you this side. You can see the brood in the center. They're starting to cap that, and then down at the bottom is some normal drone brood, and then on the corners is honey. And you'll see the same pattern here: honey in the sides, brood in the center. That's how they're supposed to look. Frame full of brood and eggs. And see, I don't know if you can sense it now. I'm definitely getting buzzed here, but I don't feel like I'm being attacked, and I think it's probably still the bees from over here. These bees in here they're doing their thing. I'm going slow. Life is good. I'm comfortable. They're comfortable. Frame full of brood. Ooh, that's interesting. Capped queen cups. These are swarm cells. Grumble. So I'm gonna shake these off. They're doing so well. I'm gonna show you this. They're doing so well that they are getting ready to swarm. And you can see those are capped, closed queen cups there on the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this frame in to Phaseopolis. That's what we're going to do. Doing what we can and getting out of the way. So this frame, I'm going to drop back in here. My fear is once they've got queen cups this far along, I don't think I'm going to stop them from swarming. My experience with swarming bees has not been great. They're my honey producers right at the moment. If I go and lose half of them, that doesn't help. If they swarm, that's a chance for me to catch that swarm and maybe collect a queen that I could add to one of the queenless hives. And for good measure, we're going to give them a drink. It's been pretty dry the last uh, couple weeks, actually. All right, well, thanks for following along on another exciting visit to Sting City. Appreciate it. We'll see what happens. Until next time, take care.